Hi everyone, welcome to our 5th MSRT webinar. MSRT is NYLA's newest roundtable focused on making and STEAM learning. We offered 4 previous introductory webinars in 2015. Making, it is not just a 3D printer. Number 2, getting started with STEAM. And number 3, injecting STEAM into everything you do. And 4, making the makerspace. You can access these recordings on the NYLA-MSRT website. Please visit, view, and share widely with your colleagues. MSRT was started to allow New York State libraries and librarians to connect and share knowledge around making and STEAM across all library types and all types of library staff. There is so much innovation and inspired activity happening in libraries right now, and we think it's a critical time to connect, share, and inspire one another as we move in new directions. We're looking for you to get involved with MSRT. First and foremost, please join MSRT. You can become a member for just $5 when added to an existing NYLA membership. Go to nyla.org, click on Memberships, then Roundtables to join today. Second, sign the MSRT section petition. With your support, at NYLA Annual Conference in 2015, we exceeded our goal of gaining the required number of petitions to become a NYLA section. Within 10 hours, we received 300 plus signatures. However, the official vote on our section status will not take place until either the 2016 ballot voting or the annual membership meeting at the conference. So we still need more signatures. If you haven't signed the section petition yet, please do so on the NYLA website. And make sure you attend the annual membership meeting at the NYLA conference in Saratoga this November. Your attendance is critical and every vote counts. And as it is evidenced by this sold-out webinar today, this is an area we are all interested in connecting around. We're also looking for MSRT members to get involved by sharing their stories about what they're doing with making and STEAM at their organizations. Our hope is to share out what other libraries are doing through our booth and program sessions at NYLA Annual, as well as to make a video series featuring libraries and librarians. If you're actively making and embracing STEAM at your library, please email me your story. This is Sue Condisdine at the FFL, and my contact information is on the screen in front of you. Finally, save the date. MSRT will also be sponsoring 3 not-to-be-missed programs at NYLA Annual this November, featuring panels of librarians from across the state. Number 1 is Support Coding and Computer Science Education Now. Number 2, Steaming Up Summer Learning. And number 3, STEAM and Making Programs for Adults. Stephanie.
Thank you. So our goal today is to share some ideas to make STEAM summer programs a reality at your library. We're going to start briefly by talking about the why questions to provide some context and frame the topic. Then we will offer ideas and suggestions for STEAM programs you can do with every demographic, from babies through adults, on any budget, and with any skill set. There's something here for everyone. As Sue mentioned, at the end we'll have time for question and answer. STEAM literacy is often defined as the ability to identify, apply, and integrate concepts from science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics to understand complex problems and to innovate to solve them. Developing STEAM literacy skills require that people be versed not only in the traditional skills of reading and writing text, but also in the critical and quantitative processes allowing one to effectively understand and communicate complex ideas. We want to make clear that STEAM literacy isn't being able to write a math equation or engineer a bridge, but it is an ability to use concepts involved in science, technology, engineering, art, and math to communicate, make decisions, and solve problems. STEAM literacy isn't expertise, it's a working knowledge. To be STEAM literate, you don't have to be an expert in the intricate details of a specific branch of science, because science literacy broadly covers the shared concepts of all sciences. It means asking questions, formulating answers, testing or checking the answers, and iterating again and again until you get the expected outcome. How often do we do that every day on the reference desk? We ask a question, we think about the resources available to us, and we search for the response systematically until we find the resource that gives us the most satisfactory answer. If you take the word literacy to mean simply the ability to read and write, then you are merely scratching at the surface. To be truly literate in this modern world, one must do more than read and write. One must be able to seek and access information, evaluate the source and quality of the information, understand, apply, and then innovate and communicate. As an institution dedicated to improving literacy and providing access to educational opportunities, we aren't meeting our community's needs if we only provide books. Books are great for learning, but we need to provide access to much more if we want to give our community the information and experience they need to develop STEAM skills that will enable them to successfully participate and compete in society and the global economy. Providing STEM books and online resources without corresponding programs and hands-on learning opportunities would be like providing someone with a computer manual and expecting them to understand how to use a computer without having seen or touched one. We know that increasing number of jobs require knowledge of STEM subjects, and not just jobs, but personal and societal decisions increasingly require STEAM skills as well. Whether about health, the environment, or technology, a certain level of scientific knowledge is vital to inform decision-making. Thus, it is our responsibility to provide access to these learning opportunities and to engage our communities in developing the knowledge and understanding around STEAM subjects. Libraries are informal learning centers, and we play a unique role in the ecosystem of learning institutions that differs from schools and other organizations. Our goals in STEAM learning are twofold: to provide well-designed opportunities for families to strengthen these capacities and to do it in a fun, dynamic, and participant interest-driven way. We are unbound by specific curricular and can tailor opportunities to reflect interest in the community. Public libraries are essential learning spaces all year long, where students and adults can explore their interests and collaborate in a challenging but non-judgmental environment. While we work actively to offer and enhance learning during the school year, we shift from that supporting role to a leading one during the summer months. As the U.S. Department of Education explains, summer is the perfect time for students of all ages to relax, but it's also a time when summer learning loss can occur. This learning loss is called the summer slide and happens when children do not engage in educational activities during the summer months. This is a huge problem, and it is one that public libraries are perfectly positioned to address. When you are planning your summer program, we want you to think about a few things. Fact: most students lose about 2 months of grade level equivalency in mathematical computation skills over the summer. Low-income students also lose more than 2 months in reading achievement. Fact: more than half of the achievement gap between lower and higher income youth can be explained by unequal access to summer learning opportunities. And finally, a fact that is particularly relevant in this year's wellness or sports summer reading theme: most children, particularly at high risk of obesity, gain weight more rapidly when they're out of school during summer break. Finally, we want to add that we support and are excited about New York State's proposed shift from summer reading to summer learning. As librarians, we provide access not only to books, but to high-quality programs, innovative services, and inviting spaces, all of which revolve around learning. We understand that this involves reading, but also many other things, like hands-on exploration and experimentation. This is not to say that libraries are extensions of schools. As we mentioned above, we have a unique role in the informal learning ecosystem. Libraries are a place where learning is fun, interactive, and driven by the participants. We think this is much more inclusive of diverse children with diverse interests, and is a direction in which many libraries are already moving by including activities and programs, not just book logging, as participation in our summer programs. Therefore, we encourage librarians to support the shift to summer learning at New York State Libraries. Now that we've provided some context for steaming up summer learning, we're going to explore programs and ideas starting with babies, toddlers, and preschoolers. Children are naturally curious and creative, so in these types of programs, you're encouraging this and extending it in programs for this age group. You can do this by encouraging tinkering, building, and other types of constructive play. You can also promote playful scientific inquiry by emphasizing observation, exploration, and discovery. Don't forget, these young children are still building critical early literacy or pre-reading skills, so incorporate the 5 early literacy practices into your STEAM programs. You probably already use books and encourage children to talk, but remember the other practices as well. Are you learning about the weather? Sing the Itsy Bitsy Spider song. Are you observing something outside or under a microscope? Have children draw it to develop their early writing skills. Don't forget about or underestimate the power of play. Play is the work of childhood. It is how young children learn and build knowledge about the world and their place in it. My number one strategy for this age group, which you will see repeated throughout the day, is to have multiple activities planned for children. Sometimes kids are completely absorbed in an activity and seem endlessly entertained by it. But more often, they like to dabble, spend a few minutes with it, and move on to the next thing that catches their eye. So be prepared. Our first program, Tots, is for toddlers, and this program we explore developmentally appropriate play-based math and science activities. The topic might be buoyancy or sink versus float. We start by reading a story that illustrates the session's topic, and then we read a nonfiction book that helps explain the science. In our buoyancy example, we read What Floats in a Moat by Lynn Berry and Floating and Sinking by Karen Bryan Mole. Then we did an experiment to explore the topic. Children chose from a basket full of everyday objects and tried to predict whether something would sink or float before testing it in a tray of water. Finally, we made something that allowed us to creatively express what we'd learned. In this case, we constructed sailboats out of sponges and straws and foam. Other topics have included math concepts like counting, building with blocks, and tangram collages, or making pictures out of cut-up shapes. We've done chemistry experiments to make and explore the consistency of slime, and we've engineered catapults using soft pom-poms and cotton ball projectiles. We've also explored pendulums, magnifying glasses, light and shadows, and many more topics. Children in Tots are learning kindergarten readiness skills, including critical and analytical thinking, problem solving, number and sense operations, measurement, and scientific thinking. They're exploring the world by manipulating objects, asking questions, and making predictions. Little Makers is a similar program for preschoolers and kindergartners. Little Makers utilizes a child's natural curiosity and the power of their imagination to explore various STEM concepts. It is this emphasis on exploration and free play that makes these programs so rewarding. Each session is dedicated to a different maker activity that explores a STEAM concept through play. For example, one month we made Galaxy Play-Doh and used the experience to learn about stars, galaxies, and outer space. Another month we explored electricity and circuits using Snap Circuit Junior kits. Like in the Tots program, we begin each session by reading a picture book that introduces the month's STEM concept in a story format. Then we read a nonfiction book and ask and answer questions that help us discover more facts about the topic. We sometimes include an experiment or challenge that helps illustrate one of the scientific principles, and we culminate with at least 20 minutes of free play and discovery through making. Other topics have included exploring physics and the principles of motion by building wooden cars, creating our own banana cell slides and observing them through the microscopes, and discussing environmental issues by simulating an oil spill. Recently, we've also made a concentrated effort to infuse more STEM learning into our Storytimes for babies through preschoolers. It's easier than you think. For babies, try choosing a book on science topics like weather, colors, and shapes. You probably already do counting rhymes with them. Every time we do a counting rhyme or explore shapes or use puzzles, we are helping the children in our early literacy programs learn math concepts. It sounds basic, but you're doing STEAM. Children also learn about comparative size when we say simple rhymes like this is big, 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 this is small, 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 this is short, and this is tall. You can use toys and manipulatives to help reinforce these concepts. For example, using a stacking toy or asking children to put everyday objects in size order allows children to practice comparative size and ordering. These types of activities can enhance the interactivity of a story time while highlighting the math concepts. For preschoolers, consider doing a cool science demonstration instead of a flannel board, or swapping out your weekly craft for an experiment. Our STEM Storytime topics have included reactions and explosions, rocks and plants, stars and space, gravity, motion, magnets, and animals. We got to be chemists, and we played with fizzy color solutions. We watched erupting elephant toothpaste. We were geologists and biologists as we examined rocks and plants with magnifying glasses. And one day, we decided to be astronomers as we laid back on the community room floor and explored the galaxy projected on the library's ceiling. Music and movement is an early childhood music class we offer. Remember, music is both art and math. In fact, musical concepts like time, rhythm, meter, and harmony all have math components implicit in them. If you want to emphasize the math, try an activity like clapping and counting the beats in a common nursery song. Offering music and movement programs for young children is fun because they're constantly moving their bodies anyway. I can honestly say this is one of our most popular offerings. Children respond strongly to music even from a very young age. For example, babies can use small percussive instruments like bells and shakers, and toddlers love striking with rhythm sticks or drums. These instruments help children with muscular development and coordination while developing their motor skills. With a preschool group, you can introduce more props and activities that ask them to regulate their behavior, like parachute games. We know that music is vital to the development of language and listening skills. It engages the brain, stimulating neural pathways that are associated with higher forms of intelligence, such as empathy and mathematics. Finally, music's melody and rhythmic patterns help develop memory. For who among us learned their letters without singing the ABC song? The best part is you can do this program with any age. Art Lab is one of our newer programs where we explore colors, textures, and mediums while encouraging self-expression. Some of the activities we've done include coloring, finger painting, or working with clay or dough. This program is designed for babies through preschoolers, understanding that it's more about the sensory experience than about creative expression for the very young. The program varies depending on topic and activities, but we usually read a story, discuss the images, and then do some activities. In a recent program, we focused on color and painting by reading Eric Carle's The Artist Who Painted a Blue Horse. We had tables set up with tablecloths and drop cloths, and we let each child paint their own picture using finger paints and some animal-shaped sponges. After they made their own picture, we let them collaborate on a larger sheet. They interacted with one another, painted together, drawing pictures, mixing colors, and exploring. Art programs like this one incorporate math and are a great way to help children see the shapes all around them. Circles and triangles are also parts of letters, so being able to recognize these shapes aids in letter recognition and early literacy building. In Art Masters, we spend a little more time in the beginning of the program exploring the work of a particular artist, including Klimt, Picasso, Andy Warhol, and more. We generally choose one notable aspect of the artist's work and then use it to create our own. Finally, this one we wanted to throw in because of this year's theme. We designed and offer a yoga story time as a way to promote playful, active learning and healthy lifestyles. A typical structure for this program is to start with some warm-up stretches and breathing, and then read a book and incorporate yoga poses. We choose poses that clearly relate to either what's happening in the story or what's illustrated on the page. For example, we recently read Bear Snores On by Karma Wilson and did some of the poses, modeled after bears, snowflakes, a mouse, hibernating, or dancing. Oftentimes, you can simply rename a pose to fit your story. So star pose becomes snowflake pose, or child's pose is used to represent the tiny mouse. Practicing poses while reading stories is a great learning tool for children because it makes the reading experience more engaging. Allowing children to move and act out the story immerses them in the experience and actually helps keep their attention. This is especially beneficial for active children who might have trouble sitting still and paying attention, as it refocuses and redirects their energy while maintaining involvement in the session. If you have reservations about offering yoga opportunities for children, remember that we're not offering a yoga class, and our patrons understand this. This program is a story time that focuses on early literacy and learning, but also incorporates physical activity through yoga and movement. Our emphasis is not on perfecting yoga poses, but rather on the experience of reading and being active together.
Okay, Margaret here. In this next section, I'm going to talk about STEAM summer program ideas for school-age kids, starting with families of elementary school-age kids. For all of our programs that cater to families with elementary school-age children, we have a couple of very basic and broad goals that are powerful and easy to attain. They are also twofold. We strive to satisfy the children who attend and meet the expectations of the parents and guardians who rely on the library to provide meaningful and educational opportunities for their children during the summer. So here they are. have fun, learn something new, and build social skills. The best way we found to achieve these goals is by choosing topics that have high interest to increase engagement, while keeping in mind that elementary school students are not always very good at staying engaged long term. As Stephanie was saying before, doing several shorter activities that together increase STEAM skills is a good strategy for maintaining their interest throughout hour-long programs. We also encourage children to work in small groups and collaborate together to provide a social environment. And finally, to partner with community organizations and volunteers to provide even more opportunities. So this year, the theme is health and wellness, and we've come up with several programs that bring out the STEAM in this theme. Our first example is the Monday Mile. This running program will be open to 20 children in grades 3 through 5 and to 20 parents or guardians. This program will begin in July, and over the course of 10 weeks, the 40 participants will meet on a weekly basis for a 90-minute session. We plan to recruit a volunteer to act as an instructor who has experience educating children and adults in running. This instructor will be assisted by FFL staff members. Each session will take place in our local community park. Every session of the 10-week program will include an educational mini-class, stretching before and after the run, guided runs, and healthy snacks and water. The mini-classes will cover these topics: how to get started with running, proper running form, clothes needed for running, food and nutrition appropriate for running, tips and tricks, injury prevention, water, hydration, and more. I'd also like to mention that we will be providing pedometers as a sign-up reward for the summer learning program, and we'll be using them for a few of our challenges. Building on the popularity of cooking shows on TV, and Chopped in particular, this program introduces kids to the fun of cooking while practicing math skills like measuring and counting, and to the exploration of food science. A program like this also challenges the children to think creatively, as they have to create the best tasting concoction from a limited number of ingredients. There is one set of specific ingredients that they must use for each round, and then a larger pool of ingredients that can be used at any time during the competition. They are limited by time and a lack of certain kitchen equipment, but that is more than made up for by the uniqueness of some of their dishes. Volunteers from our staff act as taste judges, and thankfully nobody has made anything inedible yet. Of course, this year we will be focusing on healthy ingredients. In January of this year, President Obama announced the Computer Science for All initiative, where STEAM learning and computer science were identified as national priorities for all age groups. Libraries hold a unique position in our communities as informal learning platforms. The FFL is working to develop a comprehensive plan for supporting computer science education and coding for every age through the public library's informal learning platform. We introduce young children to computer science and programming logic. We teach elementary and middle school students coding languages, and we are working to support adults in skill building and career shifts. The public library is uniquely positioned to bring the community together to understand the importance of STEAM learning and computer science. This is because public libraries are institutions that already have a footprint in every community and are an essential part of the informal learning ecosystem. Every Thursday, kindergarten through 2nd grade and 3rd through 5th grade will be exploring one-off coding opportunities, since we don't expect families to be able to attend a program at the same time every week during the summer. Instead, each program will explore a different platform or topic in coding. We will use tools like Scratch, Dash Robots, the Robot Turtles board game, coding apps like Daisy the Dinosaur, and LEGO robotics systems like the LEGO WeDo and Mindstorms to introduce our computer science and coding elements. Last summer, we had an intern from Syracuse University working on her LIS degree who has a personal interest in nature and conservation. As part of her internship, she designed and led programs for different age groups on birding, composting with worms, and hydroponic gardening. She got families involved in citizen science using eBird, a joint project between Cornell University and the Audubon Society. Children handled worms and learned the process by which they eat and break down compost material, not to mention what can and can't be composted. And they planted seeds in homemade recycled hydroponic garden containers using plastic bottles. Additionally, every year, we have an elementary school teacher, science teacher, who plans and facilitates 2 programs at the library with the help of our staff. Activities in these programs have included crushing soda cans with hot water, walking on eggs, making oobleck, exploring liquid densities, and drawing colorful designs on milk using food coloring and dish soap. The library is dedicated to providing a platform for our community to share and learn, and it is important to us that all members of the community feel welcome and involved. To this end, we invite community members to use the library as a platform for achieving and sharing their goals. In this way, we now have a new collection of kits for the tween age group developed by a teen community member to earn her Girl Scout Gold Award. The Read, Learn, Do kits take high-interest topics like magic, pets, and mythology and pair up fiction, nonfiction, and a hands-on learning opportunity. For example, in the Read, Learn, Do Magic kit, we have Nate the Great, which is a fiction book about a young magician, a nonfiction title teaching sleight of hand and card tricks, and a deck of cards for practicing with. These kits offer our patrons a chance to explore these STEAM concepts independently, and they're also a great place for us when we are planning programs, as the Girl Scout who created them also put together valuable additional resources we can pull from for planning programs based on that topic. So you can see, interns and skilled volunteers broaden and deepen the range of experience we are able to give our community, drawing on their personal interests and experience to provide meaningful, fun, and informative STEAM programs. Additionally, we have invited professionals to speak at the library about their experiences. For the past 3 years, we have reached out to the local broadcasting stations and invited guest speakers to join us for a weather program. Dave Eichhorn and Peter Hall have both given presentations about weather and what it's like to be a television meteorologist. These guest speakers are engaging and informative, teaching about weather phenomena, local, national, and world weather trends, and even showing slides and video of the science behind predicting weather. We even engaged Dave Eichhorn and the audience in using the library's green screen to take their place in front of the camera, pretending to be television weather broadcasters, which you can see in the lower picture on the left side. We are also able to offer every year from our library system 2 additional STEAM learning opportunities for families of elementary school kids. The Rosamond Gifford Zoo visits the library and does a presentation involving real live animals, you can see in the top left. And the Museum of Science and Technology, runs an interactive program for a large audience, which you can see on the top right. So you can see interns, volunteers, guest speakers, and partners all increase both the number of learning opportunities we're able to provide and also the range of topics and depth of knowledge. Another great role these partners can provide are being excellent role models and examples of professionals working in STEAM fields. Geek Girl Camp. We piloted Geek Girl Camp in the summer of 2014. 5 hours a day for 5 days straight, 44 girls were in attendance from all over the central New York area. We understood the challenges for STEM programming for girls, which include a lack of clear early pathways for girls in STEM fields, and also a lack of access to female role models in STEM. It was Geek Girl Camp's goal to create an early pathway to STEM by doing hands-on activities and interacting with inspiring women currently in STEM fields. We specifically targeted girls entering grades 3 through 5. And access was limited. Other STEAM camps for girls in our area exist, but for girls in middle and high school. Furthermore, we found that across the country there was little opportunity for the grades 3 through 5 age group, and access was limited due to a lack of affordability. STEM camps can range anywhere from $100 to $500 or more a week. The cost of our camp was only $25 and included a snack every day and a t-shirt. The library as a trusted place in our community also served as the perfect setting for the camp. We wanted to create a community of young learners supporting each other through this adventure of learning STEM skills and sharing ideas. This year will be our 3rd time providing a week-long immersive STEAM camp for girls. It is our goal to continually provide STEM programming for girls so they can continue to stay interested and engaged. At Geek Girl Camp, we strive to meet the needs of these girls to provide hands-on engaging STEAM activities, while also providing them with a chance to meet excellent female role models who work professionally in STEM careers. They have met virtually and in person a Facebook programmer, a science teacher, an Army pilot, a NASA astronaut trainer, a physics PhD candidate, a biochemist, a systems engineer, and several students and professors from the engineering department at Syracuse University. We delved into our personal networks and sought out speakers through professional organizations like Girls Who Code and Women in Technology. And among the activities we have done together are making marble runs using pool noodles, you can see that in the bottom right, launching model rockets, just to the left of that, and exploring radio communications with the pilot up in the top. Some of our most popular activities from Geek Girl Camp are the messy, loud, explosive ones, like chalk rockets, which you can see in the middle and the top there, and the pool of oobleck on the right-hand side. We want everyone, not just our geek girls, to have access to these exciting experiments, so we choose to run many of these lessons again as standalone programs. We also recently have moved to a best of summer model for our closing parties, where we feature some of the experiments and activities that were most popular and went off the best during the summer for our closing extravaganza. 2 years ago, we did a mad scientist party full of the best hands-on experiments of the summer with a mad scientist costume party. You can see Beaker there in the top left picture. And this past year, we wrapped up the summer with a superhero party where the kids ran around in the costumes they made throughout the summer learning program and had fun repeating or trying for the first time the best of the superhero-themed activities of the summer. The next age group I'll talk about is teens. In this case, families with children in grades 6 through 12. With teens, our goals are similar to the elementary students. We want to have fun, learn something, and engage socially. With teens, we also want to give them an opportunity to shape their own summer experience through volunteering, either doing traditional teen volunteer activities or by assisting and facilitating in library programs. We also want to make sure that we are engaging them through choosing topics that are interesting and relevant. Due to the success of our Geek Girl Camp, this year will be our first summer offering a similar week-long STEAM camp for boys. We have different objectives, though. There is no lack of men in STEAM careers and no drastic drop-off of interest in STEAM subjects, as there are with girls. Instead, we see this as an opportunity to engage the boys in building connections with their peers, looking to each other for inspiration and support as they engage in hands-on learning. This camp is for boys who will be entering 6th through 8th grade in the fall. We will model this after the success of the Geek Girl Camp, bringing in guest speakers and doing hands-on exploratory learning together. However, we will not limit ourselves to male role models, and will have 2 female staff members acting as instructors for the camp. This February, we piloted the idea as a day-long camp themed around Star Wars. The boys were separated into the light and dark side of the Force and were able to learn new skills and compete. The activities included an exploration of physics using a zipline ball drop, as you can see in the picture on the left, and programming Ozobots using colored markers on the right. One of the things that we've observed this year in the library is teen interest in the consumption of digital media. How many of you glance at the computers teens are using and see them watching YouTube videos, perusing social media, and even taking selfies? One of the most important parts of STEAM literacy is applying those skills to adapt and change. As passive consumers of information, they're missing out on that vital step. The Teen Media Maker series aims to help teens make that step from watching YouTube videos to making them, from reading websites to coding them, from taking selfies to editing photos. Tying it in with the summer learning theme of health and wellness, the underlying theme of this series will be creating positive messages, like anti-bullying PSAs, and making positive choices. Lego robotics are popular all year, but during the summer, we're able to do several standalone programs for beginners to experienced engineers. The introductory programs introduce participants to the various motors and sensors, how they can be used and programmed through project-based learning. We provide building instructions and some guidance for programming the robot, and give the small teams free rein to build and modify the robot and program and improve its function. We are fortunate to have a First LEGO League team and a First Tech Challenge team based at the library. Both are competitive robotics teams for middle and high school aged students. One expectation for these teams is to bring the core values they learn throughout the competition season to the community, and they do that by volunteering their skills. These team members are instrumental in providing these learning opportunities as they are assisting and facilitating the programs. In order to provide meaningful STEAM learning and programming opportunities in the library, all members of the professional staff have been trained on using the LEGO Robotics kits and are involved in providing these programming opportunities to all age groups. In this way, we are able to increase the number and diversity of robotics programs in the library. Minecraft is one of the most engaging topics we have identified in our community, and we leverage it shamelessly. As a 3D virtual environment, it is an excellent place to talk about 3D design and modeling. Building in Minecraft exercises math and engineering skills, and models created in the virtual game can be exported for use with 3D printers and other fabrication tools. Playing Minecraft is always a great deal of fun, and we are able to provide not just a library-accessible server for free play, but also special events where teams of players compete for points. These events are called the FFL Minecraft Games, and we have held more than 10 of them in the last 3 years. These events are open to 30 players in teams of 5 who spend 2 hours playing, 2 teams at a time, in a specially designed arena. These arenas are built and coded by a small team of high school students who then attend the games as the MC and technical support. The high school-aged game makers use coding skills to embed game rules into the server so that players must abide by the rules. Last summer, we collaborated with another local public library to do a library versus library championship. The players get to know each other and identify the game skills they need in their team members, drawing from the large pool of interested players. This community of interest leads to friendships and alliances both in the game and out. The popularity of these big events has led to providing an opportunity for the players to become the game makers. This summer, for the second time, we will host a 2-part series where the current game makers teach aspiring coders how to create the special arenas that are used for the Minecraft games. Thus, the hook of Minecraft gets teens involved in writing computer code so that they can shape the way the game is played. Every Thursday throughout the summer, we also have offered a teen crafting program called Teens Make. In these programs, participants use various tools in our makerspace to craft things like clocks, tech holders, fabric cuffs, spray paint canvas, recycled pouches, duct tape creations, needle felting, and make tiny monsters. These crafts use paper, scissors, tape, glue, hand sewing tools like needle and thread, felt, fabric, an iron, spray paint, etc. Because these craft events are an hour long, we focused on providing materials for a simple but fun crafts that didn't require a lot of training to make. The goal of these programs is to increase social interaction while using creative and fine motor skills. There are a lot of informal math skills that are exercised in crafting, from measuring and counting to spatial reasoning, and obviously art skills for creativity and uniqueness. Participants were never required to make the exact same thing as the example, rather to use the materials and the example as a starting place for creating unique designs.
Okay, hi everyone, this is Leah. I'm going to jump into some examples of STEAM summer program ideas for adults. So when we're thinking about STEAM programs for adults, as with our other age groups, we strive to integrate a hands-on interactive component. So we're always offering engaging workshops where participants are actively involved. And we also want to start with high-interest topics. We know that people are there on their own free time, and so we want them to be learning something, but also having fun. We want our programs to be infotaining. We look to tap into the diverse skills, interests, and backgrounds of our staff when putting on these programs. We have a variety of background areas, including a former chemist, rocket scientist, and technology teacher on our team. So we utilize these in our STEAM program planning and execution. However, we do also understand most of us are librarians, not STEAM experts, so it's critical that we look to partner with community organizations and engage volunteers who do have these areas of expertise. And when we are the ones putting on STEAM-focused programs, we're utilizing a let's find out together approach, where we're identifying learning tools and resources and learning from and with one another, rather than presenting ourselves as subject area experts. When it comes to science, one of the most popular topic areas for adults we've identified is space and astronomy. We found this topic area also lends itself very well to hands-on activities. Weather-wise, summertime is a great time to run an astronomy club at the library. One thing to keep in mind is that your meetings may need to be after hours to allow for the sun to set if you plan to observe outside. Either way, there's a ton you can do with astronomy, inside or outside, with or without a direct view of the stars. Last year, we ran a 5-part Introduction to Astronomy series geared to adults and families with older kids. Aside from the introduction to telescopes and the names of and types of celestial bodies, participants were also introduced to the math, physics, and observational skills needed in the practice of astronomy. We observed Jupiter and 5 of its moons and discussed the strength of the various optics needed to see it up close. We learned about all the planets in the solar system and made up mnemonic devices to remember their order. We created a scale model of the planets in the solar system using a 3-tub pound of Plato, and a second scale model that allowed us to examine the relative distances between the planets. In one experiment, we took a look at how just looking at craters can tell us about the size, speed, and mass of the object that created the crater. We dropped different size and mass balls from the same height into boxes of flour sprinkled with cocoa and measured the width, depth, and debris spread. Additionally, astronomy has been an opportunity to introduce our patrons to citizen science. Galaxy Zoo is a website that tasks citizens with viewing images taken by satellites and classifying them based on certain characteristics, basically crowdsourcing science. By participating in a small way, people are able to make a big contribution to the field of astronomy. Understanding relative scale, taking and recording measurements, observing and applying the conclusions to real-world applications are all transferable math skills. So when adults and families sign up for our astronomy club, they do so because they're interested in space, but they gain a lot more in the way of STEAM skills than they may realize. We have also found that some of the most popular interest science topics for adults are environmental in focus, and summertime is also a great time to offer these types of programs because we can get outside and do a lot of things. But just like astronomy, there's also indoor and outdoor opportunities for interactive environmental programs, and also many of these incorporate elements not just of science but also math, engineering, art, and technology. One great example of this are terrarium making workshops, which are led by local community volunteers. The participants learn about the biology of the terrarium system and what plants will work best together in the terrarium, but also have the artistic ability to design their own terrarium and utilize math in the measurement of various components. This workshop has been so popular that we've run it several times, all different times of year. In past summers, we've partnered with the CNY Regional Planning and Development Board's Environmental Management Program on initiative like our Kilowatt Challenge. We challenged families and participants to see who could reduce their energy consumption the most over the course of the summer. We loaned out kilowatt meters to help them test their appliances so they could use this piece of inexpensive technology to get informed about how to best make a change. We also worked with the Regional Planning Board to host informational workshops on their environmental initiatives like Solarize Syracuse. They were looking to present information about how solar works and how households can save money by installing solar or joining with neighbors in bulk solar programs. We provided the space, promotion, and our built-in library audience for these workshops, and the organization provided all the content. Recently, a local retired professor has approached us about putting on a Math of Plants workshop, which would delve into the concepts of Fibonacci numbers and how different numbers and patterns can be found over and over again in nature. Participants would be able to sleuth outside and see how they could find these patterns at work in their own lives. Again, a really fun, interesting, and interactive way of integrating math concepts into adult summer programming. Finally, we're in the process of envisioning a series of workshops around planter box gardening, where individuals could build a planter box and learn from members of our local gardening club about what and how to plant in them. We have even talked about having a small demo box garden here at the library and teaching people how to tech up their plantings by adding an Arduino-based sensor that would send tweets when the soil needed watering. Health and wellness is another science-related topic area that has proven to be high interest for our adult patrons, so we're really excited that this is the Summer 2016 theme. There are so many great health and wellness information resources, people, and organizations in our community that we can help connect our patrons with. Again, we try to make these programs infotaining. We know that people are there to learn but also enjoy themselves, and we try to make these programs interactive too.
A great example of this is our partnership with Krauss Hospital. We are working with Krauss to put on a Spirit of Women programs at the library. These are health and wellness programs geared towards women, although all are welcome, and each features both a talk and a hands-on component. For instance, June, July, and August, we're doing a 3-part stress reduction series. Each session will include a talk from a medical practitioner, such as a cardiologist, complemented by an active wellness component, such as Reiki, Qigong, or Tai Chi. In the past, we have also partnered with Upstate University Hospital on similar programs, including an Ask a Doctor series, breast cancer awareness series, and food as medicine program. Late last June, we put on a healthy living fair in the main service area of the library. It was such a success that we are working to put one on again this summer. We invited local wellness experts to join us and have a booth at the fair to hand out their informational materials, and we did also ask that each booth contain an interactive element. So participants received information from CSAs, got healthy snacks from local natural food stores, and received demos of various fitness classes, yoga, massage, aromatherapy, essential oils, and more. Finally, we have also become a partner in the Healthy Pet Project, which is a grant-funded project by the National Library of Medicine and the National Institute of Health. In partnership with Upstate Health Sciences Library and the Veterinary Medical Center of CNY, our library and a few other local libraries are hosting sessions such as Pet First Aid Basics, Pet Nutrition, and Winterizing Your Pet. In early summer, we'll be offering a Positively Fit session, which will focus on how to keep your pet fit, active, and safe in the hot summer weather. The great thing about the Healthy Pet Project is the classes are all built to parallel pet health concerns with people health concerns, and the sessions explore how we can improve overall health for all. In terms of this summer's health and wellness theme, we're also really excited about the possibilities presented by Wandu Reader, the new summer reading program management tool from Evance. We hope to use Wandu to set up not only reading-based challenges, but also wellness-based challenges. We're envisioning everything from reaching a weekly step goal, to challenging patrons to meditate for certain amounts of time, to encouraging patrons to attend all 3 of our Spirit of Women programs. Really, the possibilities are endless. In terms of technology topics, again, coding and computer science is a particularly high-need and high-interest skill development area, not just locally, but nationally. So we're looking to support this for everyone from young kids to adults. Last summer, we offered Intro to HTML and CSS workshops for adults in partnership with an organization called Girls Inc. That was really popular, so we're expanding our coding offerings this summer. The good news is that there are lots of free resources available online to teach your patrons the basics of coding. Sites like codeacademy.com and freecodecamp.com take you step-by-step through activities to help you learn to code. This summer, we plan to run a weekly coding club for adults, where we will expose them to these resources and walk them through the various activities on these sites as a group. Our instructors won't have to be coding experts. They'll just have to have basic computer skills, be good at following directions on the screen, and be good and willing to help other people. Throughout the whole year, we offer one-on-one technology classes where patrons can sign up for help on tech topics ranging from computer and internet basics, ebook and tablet assistance, job application assistance, and now we're currently in the process of rolling out the option for assistance with help developing your website. We'll explain various options for generating a web presence, including LinkedIn, WordPress, and Wix.com. We'll help patrons understand the functionality of each platform and the basic process of setting up a simple text and image-based site. Again, while basic computer skills will be needed, coding will not be a required skill set for either the instructor or the patron, as these platforms are all template-based and structured much like using a basic text editor like Microsoft Word. With both group classes like Coding Club and one-on-ones like our web presence one-on-ones, staff members are trained to utilize our Let's Learn Together approach. Again, our goal is much more about introducing the person to the resources they need to learn and reach their goals. We're looking to get them started on their learning process and feeling confident with what they need to do to gain the skills they're looking for. Some other examples of STEAM programs that we found great success with have more of a technology, engineering, and arts focus to them. Computer dissection is a two-part series we've run for the past 2 summers and will be doing again this year. Here, patrons learn from our IT staff members how to take a computer apart, what the various parts and functions are, general maintenance tips for keeping their home computers running smoothly, and then put the computers back together. We use old computers we have decommissioned. In our Building a Quadcopter 3-part series, we bought 4 quadcopter kits, learned about the various parts, assembled them, and then took the quadcopters for test flights. This series combines concepts including math, physics, aerospace engineering, and technology. Home Repair is an extremely popular series that involves a lot of math, engineering, and scientific concepts. A community volunteer teaches topics such as basic wiring, drywall, exterior maintenance, and more in a hands-on way, as you can see from the image above. Finally, with our DIY home decor series, adults utilize math skills through precise measurements and calculations, but also have a really fun time getting creative and making something beautiful for their home, like a pallet wine rack or decorative decor elements like string art. Sometimes these design projects include technology items we have in our Fab Lab, like our laser cutter, vinyl cutter, or 3D printer, but other times all that's involved are basic hand tools. Sewing might not be an activity you traditionally associate with STEAM. However, it's certainly an art form, and math is required in every program through measurements, sizing calculations, and more. We have 8 sewing machines in our Fab Lab space where volunteers lead group classes, one-on-one appointments, and even sew-a-thons for local charities. So you can see the types of STEAM programs you can offer for your community are only limited to your imagination. If you can dream it, you can find a way to do it. We recommend tapping into your local community, starting with the most high-need and high-interest topic areas, and embracing a Let's Learn Together approach for getting started with STEAM this summer at your library. And now we'd like to open it up for questions.
If anyone has some last-minute questions, you can enter them into the Questions tab now. All right, well, I would like to thank our speakers once again and the Making in STEAM Roundtable for putting on this webinar. Once this webinar is complete, a pop-up questionnaire or an evaluation questionnaire will come up, and we ask that you fill that out for us. Thank you.